Welcome to another riveting draw with me. Last time we drew some jellyfish, and today we're drawing a moth. So this is my pretty girl sketchbook. She showcases all of my good drawings, the ones I want to show off to other people. Because of that, I have become way too scared to draw directly in it. I think last time I drew directly on the paper was August of 2022, but I've been wanting to draw more in it, and I was racking my brain on what I could ensure I wouldn't fuck up. And the choice was obvious. It's literally my name. Although multiple times through the process I wasn't sure if I could pull through, but I pressed on and I succeeded. Sort of. So let me take you through the process of drawing a moth. What moth? A pretty moth. Let's go. But first I gotta do what I do best, and that is cover up an ugly drawing. There was an idea behind this, it just got lost between my head and my hands. So I pull out my garbage sketchbook and I find a page I've been wanting to use for a while. I used the wrong marker when I drew these and it ended up bleeding through to this drawing, which I really liked. I'm still bummed about that, but what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is grab my scissors and cut out the drawings. And in my sketchbook I mess around a bit to find the right placement. I find that sticking things on a page is a really good warm-up. And helps me eliminate my anxiety. Put those scissors down, you're gonna poke someone's eye out. It helps me eliminate my anxiety about starting a drawing, which is kind of ironic considering it took me 5 minutes to stick 3 drawings down. But speaking of warm-up, I really should have done some kind of warm-up before this drawing because I struggled so much with this sketch. You'll see. If you're an artist, you might have heard that your sketchbook isn't a place for finished pieces, it's not a place to be precious about. And while I really like that mentality, I personally want a place to store and show off my art, and it's definitely not an excuse to not tackle my perfectionism. And this is a sketchbook I got on the first day of art school, which I dropped out of, back in 2021. And it's the first sketchbook I've ever had any hopes of finishing. And that fact does get to me sometimes, that I've taken 3 years to almost reach a halfway point when I see artists consistently filling sketchbook after sketchbook in like under a year. And it's kind of paradoxical because in order to make good art, in order to evolve my skill, I have to make the bad art. But I'm so afraid of even the risk of making something bad that I actively stop myself from making what could have been good. And I can't just throw all my bad drawings in one place because, well, some of those drawings are gonna be good, and then they're wasted in a bad sketchbook. And it sounds so silly saying out loud, but when you're sitting with a blank page and a pen in your hand with no idea what's going to come out of it, it's scary and it's unpredictable. I don't really like talking about how scary art really is for me because it's part of a way bigger picture, which I prefer to keep between me and my therapist. But it just felt weird not mentioning it when that fear is the reason that this specific drawing exists. And you know what? I'm sure the artists behind all those amazing sketchbooks have a lot of pages they hate and they think are bad, and I just can't see it. But that doesn't make it any easier, and I still really struggle with my perfectionism and doing anything poorly. But this video in and of itself is me conquering that fear, which I'm proud of. I am so terrible at symmetry. I really don't know why I thought it was a good idea to go in blind. I mean, look at that. Why? What happened? And it's at this point I finally take a step back and actually look at the tail and look at how terrible it is. So I erase it and try to redraw it. And I actually hold up my sketchbook to make sure that I'm looking at it straight on and also not getting my head in the camera. I fail later on anyway, but that's besides the point. And halfway through inking I decide that the tail is still terrible. So I go in and I erase it and I redraw it in a more geometric way and hope that will help. It did, actually. I personally hate it when the artists I watch bring up the fact that they don't know what to talk about or that they're like rambling, because I specifically watch them to hear someone talk about literally anything. Like, I could not tell you what Emerlo Art talks about in any of their videos, but god damn it, it's entertaining. So as a viewer, I get annoyed. Because it's like, I don't care what you talk about, just talk. And repeatedly saying you don't know what to talk about. It's like, it's breaking the fourth wall. But now I'm sitting here, like, what do I talk about? It's surprisingly hard to talk about nothing. And it's so dumb, but I genuinely can't think of anything I want to share. Did you know that the moth I'm drawing is part of the long-tailed burnet family, native to South Africa? And yeah, that's about the only information I can find about them. And I'm not kidding. No one knows anything about them. I'm very confused on why they aren't studied more, but yeah, there's literally no information about them whatsoever. I skipped outlining the body because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, and in the end I never outline it, I just like go in with the colors. So like, don't worry, I didn't forget about it. It was a deliberate choice. I pull out my Faber-Castell color pencils just to have them on hand when I need them. I take out the warmest yellow. It doesn't show up very well on camera, but there's a big difference between my 3 yellows. I take out my orange and my 2 reds, a warm one and a cold one. I was kind of hesitant going in because I didn't really know what I was doing, and honestly it didn't turn out all that great. I don't dislike it, I just know I could do better if I really tried. Like, I think the outlines on the wings are too thick and kind of messed up. I went in with a brown pencil for the darker parts of the moth before going in with a fully black one to create some kind of depth and not just have it be pitch black. But it just doesn't really work out. The wings are still very light, and it's just, the colors are just kind of unsatisfying in my opinion. I will say by the end, I really like the opacity in the red and the blending into the orange. To be honest, I had no idea what I was doing going in coloring the body. I knew I wanted it to be fluffy, which is why I didn't like outline it, because I thought that might make it feel too rigid, and I think I was right, and I'm glad I didn't. But I had no idea what I was doing. I was just fluffy. That was all that was in my head, just fluffy. And you know what, I think I did alright. I think it reads as a fluffy moth. But you tell me. You let me know in the comments if that looks fluffy to you. Alright, the drawing has gotten to simmer a bit over the past couple months. And I don't like it. And I, quite frankly, I can't publish a video of me drawing this and be happy about it. I don't like it, and I know I can do better. So that's what we're gonna try to do today. I can never get these freaking colored pencils out. They piss me off. We need a lot more darkness, and we need more blending between the orange and the brown and black. I have 2 oranges. I think I lied to you earlier in the video. Hang on. I'm not sure if I want to go in with this brown or this brown, like, between the... Stop shaking, please. I'm gonna, first of all, make the but more layers to everything actually. And looking at this, you might feel like you missed a couple steps, so let me catch you up. I knew very quickly I wanted to add a blue background to make the red and the orange stand out, but I couldn't do it with my alcohol markers because A, they bleed like crazy, B, they warp my paper, C, most importantly, they're very streaky if you try to cover a large area, so I ended up going with blue paper. But honestly, the process of cutting out the shape of the moth was so messy, it's embarrassing. And I ran out of storage halfway through, and it's just, I don't want to show you. And on top of that, I just added some blue stars to try and forget all about the very ego-shattering event that just went down. And now we're here. I might have spooked you a little bit by telling you I lied to you, but it's just that the colors of my pencils show up differently on camera. Not on paper, they look fine there, but the actual pencils look very different. So different, in fact, they even fooled me earlier, and that's why I said I had lied to you. I actually used 2 oranges and 2 reds. For some reason, the lighter orange looks completely yellow on camera, but it's orange. I don't know why that felt super important to me, but it did. So now I'm telling you, I'm fixing my mistake. I hope you can forgive me for not telling the truth earlier. And well, once again, I ran out of storage halfway through, but let me demonstrate what you were missing out on. And so yeah, this is the final drawing. I'm super glad I cracked and went back to it because it looks so much better now, and I hope you agree. But thank you for watching regardless of what you think of this. Bye.